Hello everyone. I am Akash. I am from S Ibm Pune, and this is my friend Unmil. We are going to be taking you through the webinar today. The webinar is basically going to help you in deciding what all criteria should you keep in mind when you're actually looking for a B school to join. So we're just quickly going to start with explaining our profiles a little bit and what we do here and what specialization we are in, and then we can probably go ahead and talk a little more about the campus, the infrastructure, the placements, etc. And we'll then go ahead and take the questions as they come in. So I'm, as I said, I'm Akash Ahuja. I am from Gujarat. I have done my engineering. I'm a civil engineer in terms of my undergraduate degree. Post that, I've gone ahead and worked in a travel startup for 1.5 years, 19 months to be precise. And my role was in business development, sales, and marketing. I joined SIBM Pune in the 2018-20 batch. So it's been close to 1 year that I've spent here. And I'm a member of the aspirant relations team, which is the team that takes care of the admissions at SIBM Pune. And I have actually taken up marketing as a specialization. So we have 5 specializations here. In the regular MBA, we have marketing, HR, finance, and ops. And we have another specialization which is separate from the regular course, which is the innovation and entrepreneurship. So Unmil is from there, and yeah, he'll tell you a bit about his program.
First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Unmil Modi, and I'm from Bombay. I'm a commerce graduate from Mba College, and I have work experience in my family business, which is ship fueling, and I'm pursuing MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So, coming to the course, MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship is a very unique course offered here at SIBM. It revolves around how to go about your startup or how to do well in your family business.
Okay, so what we will do is we will go ahead and quickly tell you a brief about the courses on offer at SIBM Pune, and then we have a few criteria that we have shortlisted. Personally, I have shortlisted, and it really helped me when I was an aspirant last year, and I had to decide what colleges to join, and I will go ahead and talk more about it. So first things first. SIBM Pune offers an MBA program, which is a 2-year residential program. Our campus is based in Lavle, Pune. And so the residential program, as I said, consists of 4 specializations that you have to, you have the choice to decide from. One of them is marketing, the other is HR, then there is finance, and then there is operations. The selection of the specialization is supposed to be done in the first semester, in fact in the first month itself. And when the students come in, some of them are obviously sure that they want to take up a particular specialization. Like I was pretty much sure that I wanted to take up marketing, but a few of the people are also confused when they come here. They're either confused between 2 specializations, or if they're freshers, they've not ventured into any of the specializations. They're just trying to find out as to what will work best for them. So we also provide career counseling sessions, and there is guidance provided in that case as well. So in the first 15-20 days, you're actually provided guidance from our alumni, from our recent as well as established alumni. And apart from that, there are various counseling sessions conducted in the college itself, which help you identify what your core strengths are and where you do best. After that, you'll have some classes as well where they tell you the basics of all the 4 specializations so that you can go ahead and decide. So that is pretty much when it comes to the various specializations that we have on offer. I would like Unmil to talk about the innovation and entrepreneurship course, and then we can move ahead.
As I mentioned, the innovation and entrepreneurship course revolves around how to go about your startup or how to do well in your existing family business. So this course is very unique, and you have subjects. The curriculum is based on quite similar to the regular MBA, but has additional subjects which might help you in your startup, like design thinking, global mega trends, innovations that come up in India, and you also have the typical MBA subjects like accounting, human resource. The operations, because you're doing an MBA course, you need to know all these as well. So The second thing I want to clear that the ambition of the course is that you hone your entrepreneurial skills and you do well in your startup. So it might be an MBA course, but doesn't offer you placements. So I want to clear one thing over here. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs coming in, mentoring you in this course. So it gives you a hands-on industry experience as far as your entrepreneurial journey is concerned.
All right, great. I will just quickly address a couple of questions that have popped up. So, hey Rima, thank you for the question. We wanted to know two things. So, the first thing, how big is the Lavle campus? I'd say approximately 300 to 400 acres is what we've been told. It's a pretty huge campus, so I don't know. We've not really seen the length and breadth of it yet, and it's been 1 year for us. But yeah, so our campus is actually situated on a hilltop, and so from the hill base to the hilltop, the whole of it is close to a 300 400 acre campus. We have the campus is really beautiful because the weather is really great since it's on a hillock, and the environment is really great, so we are not privy to all the pollution that actually harms us in the city. So it's very difficult to cope up when we actually go to the city. So yeah, so that's about the environment in the campus here. About the foreign exchange program at SIBM, yes, we do have a foreign exchange program. In fact, we have foreign exchange programs to be precise. So there are a lot of universities that have tied up with us, and they offer foreign exchange opportunities for our students. Close to 20 25 students each year end up taking these opportunities and going to different universities in Europe. This time we've opened up an opportunity in Canada as well. In case you go to the website, in case you go to the foreign exchange programs, you'll exactly be able to find the details. But we do have foreign exchange opportunities, and there are close to 8 10 universities that offer these.
So just to clarify one thing, these foreign exchange programs are also offered to MBA INE students as well. So it's open for them to go to a foreign exchange program.
Okay, we will also take a question from Bhushan. So Bhushan is asking about the placements. Okay, so I can only tell you so much about the placement process right now, because it's a little difficult and a little tricky to understand right now. Once you come to the college, I think I'll be able to explain the whole process to you better. But just to start, what happens usually I think this is across all B schools that this method is followed. That there are two different approaches that colleges take. So one of them is a cohort based approach that you will see in IIM Ahmedabad taking, wherein they divide the companies into various specializations or various roles that they offer, various fields that they work in. So let's say there is a consulting based cohort, there is a sales and marketing based cohort, there is a banking finance based cohort, then there is a uh, let's say a operation based cohort. So these are different cohorts, and then the placements also happen accordingly. The other type of B schools, which is followed by most of the premier B schools in India, be it an XLRI or be it an FMS or S Ibm Pune as well, is the concentrated placement week sort of a thing. So herein the idea is pretty simple, that all the students sit for the placements together, and as and when the companies keep coming, they keep getting enrolled in the process, and then they have to go through the whatever process the company follows. They have to go through that, and then they get placed accordingly, and they get to know later that they've made it to a particular company. Also, I'll take this opportunity to elaborate on placements a bit further. So the placements at SIBM Pune are really great. You can check it on the website. But just to tell you a little bit about the facts, SIBM Pune, the recent placements that concluded for the batch of 2019, the average package was 17.48 LPA, and all our specializations, in fact, all four of them had an average package of more than 17 lakhs. So that's probably a gist of the placements. For our batch in the summer placements, the highest package was 3 lakhs and the average package was 1.66 lakhs. So this is the stipend for the 2 months. Moving on, I have a question from Rajasi. Rajasi is asking placements for HR profiles and job roles offered. So the profiles and job roles offered vary each year. It's not constant where companies will come in with the same sort of profile year in and year out. So you will see HR analytics being offered to the students. So a lot of AI and machine learning is being implemented in HR these days. So there are some profiles that are being offered in that. Apart from that, the traditional IR roles are always in demand. So a lot of conglomerates, a lot of companies that are working in the manufacturing field will come up with industrial relations role where they want want an HR to go and work in a plant or go and work on an on-site location, ensure that everything is running smooth there. Then there are usual roles in corporate HR, which would include performance management or learning and development, compensation and benefits. So all these roles are on offer, and as and when the company has a requirement, it keeps on changing. There are HR consulting roles as well that are offered by a few companies. Then you have an HR analyst role as well, which is being offered nowadays, which basically involves a mix of data analytics and HR put into action. Moving on, I will take a question from Upasana. Hello, Upasana. So you're interested in marketing roles. What kind of placements are offered and what companies have? So I cannot give you a whole list of companies because there are just too many companies that hire in marketing. But what I would recommend is if you can go to the SIBM Pune website, I'll also put it in the comments. You can go to the SIBM Pune website. You can check out our placement report and you'll be able to find quite a few companies that hire for marketing. And this time, in fact, what we've done is we've gone ahead and we've segregated the placement specialization wise. So you'll actually be able to know what all companies have hired for marketing in this year's batch. So in 2019 batch, what all companies have gone ahead and hired for marketing. This will give you a fair idea of what to expect. Also, in terms of roles, if I were to tell you, the roles again vary. There are sales roles that are offered. There are a lot of companies that have a management training program in place, and mostly the roles that they offer are in, usually they're as a trainee itself, where the trainee program will have different set of roles that they have to perform in the 1.5 year that the program goes on for. So there could be sales, they have to do marketing as well in that particular 1.5 year stint. And then they go ahead and join, depending upon the requirement the company has, they go ahead and join either sales or, marketing or digital marketing, which is something that is in, demand now. Apart from that, you have your traditional marketing roles which come in, which could be in market research, which could be in market analyst as well. You could get a role in advertising. There are a few advertising firms that also come up. Apart from this, there is also a consulting sort of a role that is offered by a few companies as they offer general management roles as well. So it could be that you're offered a role in marketing, but it's a healthy mix of operations, finance, and marketing that you have to take care. And then there is it's not entirely something that is set in stone. So a lot of people get projects which involve marketing and HR as well, where you have to do capability building for the sales force that is on the field. So a variety of roles on offer. Marketing is a very diverse field. It depends upon your interest as well. What do you pursue? So yeah. I will now take a question from IND. Arnold Matthews question after IND. Do you have a chance to get a good off-campus placement? I think Unmil, if you can just take this.
Yes, I think it's a good idea to get a hands-on experience before you go about your startup in that particular industry. And there are people who have taken jobs before they want to get into that particular domain of the startup. So yes, there are people, alums of the innovation and entrepreneurship course who have worked in the industry before getting their hands on the startup. I think I'll take Khyati's question as well. There are rumors that meeting assignments deadlines is difficult at SIBM Pune. Is it true? I think when you are at a premier B school and you're doing MBA, things are obviously going to be rigorous. but I think it's manageable, and even we've managed it. So you'll not worry about it that much. It's obviously going to be fun, but we'll be learning together as well.
So, just on a little lighter note, I wouldn't say that it's very difficult. I would say that it's rather challenging because in the first semester, especially, you will have some difficulty in managing all the deadlines that come to you. Because so I personally came from a work experience background, and the rigor that you have in the first semester is it takes some time to cope up. So, I mean, in the first semester, it would be a little complex for you to manage the time. But once you learn the art of time management, once you are actually sure about scheduling your day, then it seems like a piece of cake, because by then you'll actually get used to the rigor. So when we go home, actually, it's a little difficult because we don't have anything to do, and we get really restless because at a B school you always have a lot of things to do. So yeah, it's not very difficult. It's something that will take 15, 20 days or maybe a month or so to get used to, and then it's fine. Everybody sort of gets into the groove. We will take a question from Martin. Martin is asking me, do past academics affect to get admission in SIBM Pune? Not really, because the admission criteria that we have, and that is mandated by SIU, that does not have any weightage assigned to past academics. Obviously, past academics, if you have great academics, it will help you when you come to the college. But in case you do not have best of past academics, or Purane Pap as we call it, you will have slight difficulty maybe in the initial stage, but I wouldn't say that they affect you in any case in terms of admissions. Once you come to college, obviously you will have to do well. You will have to ensure that you end up doing really well in the first semester. You will have to ensure that you get good marks here. So that is, I think, the only way to sort of redeem yourself, because I don't think there is any point crying over spilt milk. So it's better that once you get into the college, you do really well, and there is ample opportunity for you to do really well in terms of placements, in terms of corporate competitions, in terms of the student council here, or academics, everything that you can think of. There are roles and responsibilities that you can take up. So yeah, you will always have a chance to redeem yourself. We'll go to the next question. Vikram, hey Vikram, can you elaborate the difference of median packages and why it's usually not mentioned as compared to average packages? So Vikram, it really depends on what college it is. Some colleges like to mention both of the packages. We usually do mention the median package. There are different ways of mentioning it, but if you see, there'll be statistics in our summer internship which says 50% of the batch has gotten a package of more than XX amount. So that tells you that the median package is so and so. The difference between an average package and a median package is the median package is the middle most value. So I mean, if you go to if you just take the basics of statistics, you'll be able to understand. But the average is obviously the mean. So let's say there are 5 observations, and the values are given. You divide it by 5, or you add all the values, you divide it by 5, you get the average. For median, it's the middlemost value. So that's why there is a little variance. It's not that the colleges want to fake it or anything. It's just that both these statistics are often used uh, you know in one place, or sometimes not used together. So it's up to colleges discretion to actually use either one of them. So I have gotten a question from T Payar which says, does an experience of 3+ years impact our opportunity of placements? Specifically asking for marketing. So no, I would not say that. I have seen cases of both freshers and people with 3 to 4 years of work ex, or in fact more than 4 years of work ex, doing really well in placements. Um, I think on the contrary, I would say that if you have a good amount of work ex, it really helps you in class discussions. So when you go ahead and you're discussing, let's say, a case study in your class, the work experience that you've had, the varied experience that you've had, that helps you more and more, and you bring a lot to the table when it comes to the discussions that we have. It makes the discussions really lively. When it comes to placements, I think both freshers and people with WorkX got enough opportunities, and they could do really well. So I wouldn't say that people with WorkX are at a disadvantage here. In fact, I'd say when it comes to final placements, companies want to look at your WorkX. Companies want to understand what sort of work you've done, because they're more interested in knowing the work background that you come from and whether or not you'll be a fitment to their company. So I don't think people with heavy WorkX have a disadvantage here. Coming to Pankaj's question, hey Pankaj, so he's asking, do companies during summer and final filter students based on their number of months in WorkX? It's not criteria that is set in stone. Also, as per the requirements of the company, then the criteria keeps changing. So a few of the companies will have criteria in terms of marks, in terms of extracurriculars, in terms of WorkX. So everything that is there on your resume will matter. That is something that I can tell you. The companies have a unique way of looking at each college, unique way of looking at the candidate pool that they have. So some companies will look at the WorkX, some companies will not look at the WorkX. Some companies will take an aptitude test and decide, okay, we want to have a cutoff and we want to call the number of candidates from this. It really depends. It really varies from company to company and year on year. But I can say that it's also possible that some companies have a WorkX criteria. It's also possible that there is no WorkX criteria given. Depending upon what role do they want to offer, this gets decided. But again, it's not something that you can entirely control, because let's say you're joining a college now, you will not obviously get a WorkX of 2 years. So don't think too much about it. I'd much rather say that what you can do to improve your profile now, that would be more important, rather than thinking, whether or not your WorkX will affect the placements or not. So now I will take a question from Salman. Salman is saying, should you do an MBA from a top B school? Academics is poor. Commerce graduate. Okay. So Salman, just to give you a brief, I would not say that academics is the only criteria that a company would look at, or that a B school would look at when they are actually admitting students. So there is a myth that people only choose students with great academics in B schools. That is not the case. I think the overall profile is looked at. So there are going to be different facets of your personality that you will put into a form or a resume, be it your marks, be it the extracurricular activities that you've done, be it your positions of responsibility, or any NGO work that you've gotten done, or WorkX that you have. So all these things will also matter, and they are as important as your 10th and 12th marks. So I would rather say that even if you have a certain disadvantage in one of the examinations or in one of the marks, I'd say that you go ahead and ensure that the other facets that you have in your resume, they are getting highlighted when you have the opportunity to showcase. So I, for one, do not have great academics. I will be very honest with you. But when there was an opportunity and when I could highlight, I highlighted the rest of my personality. So this helped in many ways, and I'm here. So I mean, it really worked out. Next question. Jewel Sheikh has put up a question saying, hey guys, what plays more importance in the selection process? A good overall profile or good academics will suffice? I think, Unmel, can you take that question?
I think a good balance of both. As Akash mentioned, that academics is not the only criteria the college considers for the admissions process. It's the how you give the interview, how you do the G process, and I think a good balance of both will suffice you to get admission.
Okay. So we have a question from Vaibhav. Hey Vaibhav, are there lateral placements having WorkX more than 30 months will be helpful? So I'd say you are not at a very huge advantage if you have more than 30 months of WorkX. You're not at a disadvantage if you have more than 30 months of WorkX. Actually, it really depends on what the company wants to do and what sort of talent does the company want to hire. In terms of lateral placements, we do not have a separate lateral placement process that happens for students with more than, let's say, 2 years or 3 years of work ex. It's together, but there are companies, there are different kinds of companies who will come in and who will have a set criteria of a minimum months or a minimum years of work ex that they want to look at. So especially in the final placements, there is going to be a mix of both, where there are companies who want to hire freshers, there are companies who want to hire people with work ex. So obviously, if you have such a company in mind, obviously if you want to get into such a company, the work ex that you will have will be of an advantage. You will be able to do well. In case you are not sure, in case you are someone who wants to make their mind up when they come to college, there is opportunity for that as well. A lot of companies will open to you irrespective of your work ex. So you will have good ample opportunity to actually go ahead and make it count.
Next question is from Aman. How much does extracurricular count while admissions? Okay, so as we mentioned, that there are different criteria as far as the admissions process is concerned. So obviously, extracurricular activities will strengthen your profile, and you have to fare well in each and every department to get into this. So obviously, it will play to your strength and you can leverage your admissions process as far as your profile is concerned.
Okay. Question from Saurabh. Hey Saurabh, can you throw some light on minor specializations and how do students go about it? Also, during placements, can you sit for any company or a company offering a specialization? Okay. So, coming to the minor specializations, so in S Ibm Pune, what we follow is in the first year, you have to study the subjects that are offered in the core, and there are subjects that are offered in your own specialization. So, let's say I'm in marketing. I was offered 2 subjects in the first semester and 3 subjects in the second semester in marketing that I had to take up. Now, when I come in the second year, I have the option to select what major I want and what minor I want. So for the major, obviously, I'm going to go ahead with marketing because that is the course that I've chosen. But for the minor, I have all the specializations open between marketing, HR, ops, and finance. Let's say I end up taking operations, I can study 4 or 5 subjects that are offered for the operations specialization in the second year, along with the marketing courses that I will be doing. In case I take up marketing itself, I will study all the subjects of marketing that are on offer. When it comes to placements, it really varies because some companies will come with a specific set of requirements where, let's say, they're looking for a general management role, then they might open it for somebody who has had a varied specialization experience. Mostly, the companies that come in and the placement method that we follow, there is specialization based placement. So, let's say a marketing placement is conducted for marketing students, and the companies that offer the roles, they are in the marketing specialization itself. But sometimes cross specialization placements happen as well. It depends upon the company's requirement and their willingness to allow the students. And this also keeps changing year on year because as we keep speaking, the business world is really evolving. So I can't tell you that 3 years down the line, what is going to happen in say HR specialization, how much is analytics going to be into it or not. So that keeps varying. Sorry. We'll take Rajashi's question again. Till how much does the waitlist get cleared for MBA General? This is something that keeps varying year on year. So there have been instances where the waitlist movement has been less than 100. There have been instances where the movement has been 200 to 250. So it really depends upon the response of the aspirants towards S Ibm Pune. So it's not something that we would particularly comment on. What we can say is that in case you are in the waitlist, you have to be just a little patient and figure your way around while the results keep getting announced. So the waitlist movement, whatever updates are going to be there, they are going to be displayed on the SIBM Pune website, and you should pay attention to them. And be rest assured that whenever there is a movement that happens, you will be informed on the website. So Arnold's question, what is your daily timetable in a day, college studies and personal life balance? So Arnold, just to answer your first question, I would say that let's say we usually wake up at around 7 to 8 in the morning. It depends on how particular you are in terms of health, uh, or do you like to walk, etc. Usually, some people like to take a walk in the morning, so they wake up at 7:30. They take a walk. I am I'm on the lazier side, so I don't like to wake up early in the morning. I wake up around 8:30. I have my breakfast after getting ready. Usually the classes start at around 9 to 10 depending upon the professor. So once we have classes, on a particular day we might have classes till 8 p.m. in the night as well. There are a few days when we'll have classes till 3 or 4 p.m. With a lunch break in between. So let's say on an average we would have a class till let's say 4 or 5. So we'll have probably 2 or 3 subjects for which the classes are taught. Once that is over, then I think that is when the S Ibm Pune campus comes to life, and that is when you do most of your work. So in most of the cases, you will have case studies that are being given to you as assignments, or evaluations that are going to be conducted the next day. So you'll get to know about them. You'll get an email, and then you'll have to start studying about that particular subject. That is one way people go about it. We have a 24-hour library that helps you in doing this. Apart from this, we have 9 student councils that take care of different functions. So let's say I am in the aspirant relations team. There is an alumni team. There is a corporate interface team. There is a placements team. There is a sports management team. There is a social and entrepreneurship consulting team. And so these teams take care of various functions that go on in the college. And when we say that we are a student driven college, it talks a lot about us, because this is exactly one of our USPs, where all the working of the college is taken care by the students. So when this happens, most of the time that you have free, you usually denote it to you usually devote it to your student council if you are a member of it, because there is some or the other event that you have to come up with, or there is some or the other work that you have to do. So that is something that we usually do. Apart from that, there is obviously time to take a break, go out, have fun, grab a couple of drinks or two, and come back. Then obviously there are birthday celebrations that we do. We sit and chill as well. So all that happens. And once you actually get into the groove at a B school, you will probably not want to sleep before, let's say, a 12 a.m. or a 1 a.m. So you have a whole lot of the day with you. I usually end up sleeping for 6 to 7 hours. There are some people who sleep for fewer hours as well, say 4 or 5 hours. So they maximize whatever amount they have in the day for studying, and then at night they usually chill with friends. So that is how it goes. But to summarize, I'd say that a day at a B school is really really long, and you have to really maintain a balance between your personal life, meeting your friends, spending time with them, and doing the work that is being assigned to you, and ensuring that everything is running smooth on your end. So that's we've answered questions from Siddharth. I think we will take his question. Siddharth says, I have 2.5 years work ex, but not in the field that I want to choose in SIBM. How will it affect my placement chances? So, Siddharth, it doesn't really matter in terms of work ex that you should have relevant work ex only. So, let's say a lot of people come into MBA, and they have work ex in IT, which might or might not be relevant to a particular field. Let's say they want to take up HR and they have work ex in IT. It's not going to be exactly relevant. They've not done the exact same work. But when it comes to work experience, any amount of work ex that you have, any field that you've worked in, is going to be useful. Why? Because you have certain understanding of how an organization works. What are the business goals? What are the KPIs that are going to be assigned to you? What is the sort of job roles and responsibilities that you're going to take? So this way, you understand the working of corporate world. Even if you've not worked in a corporate, you've worked in a startup, you've taken some roles and responsibilities, you've delivered on them. So there is something that separates you from, let's say, a fresher who's going to come and who will not have a proper understanding of the corporate world. That being said, it's not again, when we talk about affecting the placement chances, I wouldn't say that there is a huge difference in the opportunities that a fresher gets and somebody who has a work ex gets. because there are companies who are going to prefer people with work ex. There are companies who are going to prefer people with no work ex at all. So that is something that you will get to know then and there, because the company will have a particular requirement, but it's spread out. So I wouldn't say that exactly it's going to be a disadvantage or an advantage, but I would say that obviously it helps you, because you're coming with a much clearer and a mature point of view when it comes to corporate careers, or it comes to business world, and it's something that will help you as you move on forward.
We'll take Nikita's question. She said that do freshers get equal opportunities during placements? Absolutely. You would get equal opportunity. It doesn't matter if you have work experience or you're a fresher. And it again depends upon the company as to what their requirement is. Companies need refreshers and people having work experience as well.
All right. So we will take the next question from Brian. Brian says, to get a top-notch job in finance, is it a must to have a professional qualification?
Yes,
Being a
yes.
BCom and MBA from a tier B. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am an engineer from tier B, tier C, tier B, I'd say tier B college. So it doesn't really matter where you come from. I think what matters is the understanding that you have for the subject. Also, when it comes to professional qualification, it gives you an edge, because you've proven yourself in a particular field of interest. But I do not think that if you want to grab the best roles that are on offer in finance, you will have to have a CA or another certification. Uh, Obviously, if you want to have a particular specific field of interest where you want to work, your inclination can be justified by having a professional degree. But even if you don't have that, I do not think that it affects your chances of getting placed in that company. So to be a little honest here, when the companies come to campus, they also understand that the students are in first semester, and the knowledge that they have about finance, or the knowledge that they are going to have about a particular specialization, is going to be limited to what they've been taught and what they've learned before that. So you are not asked to know the intricate details of a balance sheet, or of the annual report of a company, or it's not like you should be knowing what all financials the company is into, or how to invest and double their money. So all those things you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to know the basics of finance, which are going to be taught to you in the first semester itself, and the B school is also going to be preparing you for the placements. So I think it's obviously an added advantage if you have a degree, but you're not at a loss if you don't have it. That would be my answer.
Hey, Chirag's question. How did an MBA help? And do you feel that it changed your personality and made you more professional? Of course, I think I'll take my example. I had never moved out of my home before, and coming here, living in the hostel, changed my life completely. It made me more self-dependent, more disciplined, more self-headed personality. And doing an MBA here has helped me how to go about the world. It had me helped me face the real industry over here. It gives you corporate interactions. You are more confident when you talk to people over here. So I think MBA has played a very important role as far as SIBM Pune was concerned in developing my own personality. I think Akash would agree the same.
Yeah, so I think I would talk a little bit about my personality. So I have been an ambivert for a while, so I can. I'm a someone who's a little comfortable in social situations as well, but I like to have my own personal space at times. So when I came to SIBM, and when I've had this opportunity of getting into MBA, I've realized that I need to mold myself into being an extrovert at times, or being an introvert at times, whenever the situation demands. So that is one thing that I've learned, how to adapt yourself to the situation that is coming. And apart from this, I think a lot of soft skills development happens in MBA. So how to talk to people, your communication skills, your presentation skills, this is going to be something that is going to improve a lot in the first semester itself when you join a B school, because from the first day onwards you'll be on your toes when it comes to PowerPoint, or you'll be on your toes when it comes to presenting, because it's a basic skill that is required and asked from you. So you'll do really well in terms of developing yourself, your personality here. Apart from that, there are a lot of skills that I've learned, which I would not have learned otherwise because they were in the curriculum. I think because of the organized learning that was on offer, I could learn, which is, let's say, an Excel, or something like an SPSS or a Tableau. These are the few things that I got to learn. So we got to learn Python as well in this particular semester because it was included in one of our courses. So it's something that you get to learn here and you'd not learn otherwise, because I'm not someone who's going to actively look out for, let's say, programming languages. But when it comes in your curriculum and when you learn it, and you start implementing it, you will be able to realize how useful it's going to be for your later corporate life or your career beginning itself. So we will take a question from Adarsh now. Adarsh is asking, because the batch size of operations at SIBM is low, do the students get placed in marketing or related roles? On the contrary, Adarsh, I think when the batch size is low, almost all of them get their preferred roles. So when the students actually go ahead and sit in placements, because the batch size is relatively low compared to marketing, they actually get, so we host a lot of companies in operations as well on the campus. They actually get to go ahead and choose what all companies do they want to sit for, and what sort of roles do they want to get into. Because the batch size is relatively low, they usually get placed the first as well. And all of them, I would say, barring one or two cases where the students want to change their specialization or want to work in cross specializations, almost all of them get core operations role, and that too in varied industries. IT operations is also something that is given to them. They get supply chains roles as well. They get procurement roles as well, all those things. Then now product development or project management roles are also being offered to students from operations. So this is also something that is up and coming, and they are from various fields. We've seen people getting jobs in BFSI sector, in retail sector, um, in the startup sector, e-commerce sector, then the usual corporate sector where manufacturing is a major chunk of the recruitment that happens. So yeah, more or less all of the roles that they get are either new age operations roles that are developing or the core operations role. I don't think that they have to settle for a marketing role as such. We will take a question now from Jyoti Prakash, and then we'll come back to some questions. So Jyoti is asking, can you explain the admission procedure in a B school? The admission procedure in every B school is different, Jyoti. So I can best explain the procedure that we follow, or the procedure that is followed by SIU. So the first part of the process is that you have to fill up the form for SNAP. SNAP is the common admission test that we have, which is taken nationwide. Once you fill up the form for SNAP and appear for SNAP, there is a cutoff released by every college that is in question in SIU. And based on this cutoff that is released, there is a shortlist that is announced. So let's say there are, 50, 60,000 students that appear for the test every year. There are selected students that are called by each college, depending upon their requirement and depending upon the number of students that they want to call. Once that is done, every college conducts a group exercise, personal interview, and returnability test process. And this is conducted usually on their campus itself. So herein, all the students who are shortlisted are invited. They are allowed to choose their preferred slot. And once they appear for the GE pivot process, there is a merit list that is announced, there is a waiting list that is announced, and there is a reject list that is announced. So few students that are not deemed to be fit to join a particular B school, they are told in the reject list. There are a few students who are going to be put into the waiting list, and there are a selected students, that is the batch size, that is offered admission. So we offer admissions to 180 students because our batch size is 180. So 180 students are offered admissions. Based on how many students fill up the fees from these 180, the admissions are offered on roll-on basis to the students in the waiting list, and the process continues till the college program begins.
This is a question from Aniruddha. She has asked whether MBA INE program everyday classes are driven by a lot of case studies like the regular MBA program. Just to clarify that MBA IE and MBA programs are both MBA programs, and you would have case studies in MBA IE as well. And it depends upon the faculty or the subject's demand as to does it need a case study teaching. So let's say you might not have as much as the regular MBA, but you definitely have do a lot of case studies in MBA IE as well. And there is not a lot of differentiation between MBA regular MBA IE as such in your at SIBM. And again, as I said, that it depends upon the subject and the teacher. If he really wants to take the case study method, he'll take the case study method as well.
Just to add on to that, the faculties that teach the regular program, those are also the faculties and some additions that are going to be there for the IND program. So for the IND program, we have some startup enthusiasts and mentors that come in from the outside, people who have their own companies or who've been serial entrepreneurs. They come in and teach. But apart from that, the regular faculties that we have on campus, the people who teach in MBA regular, those are the people who are going to be teaching in IND as well. So let's say a particular faculty uses a case study method in the MBA regular program, they will do the same for the MBA IND course as well. So that way parity is maintained in both the courses. I will take Vipul's question. Vipul is asking about the stigma associated with symbiosis. Vipul, there's only one answer that I have for this question, and that is that there is no backdoor entry as such at SIBM Pune or in SIU institutes in question. I think these are rumors that we get passed from working in the admissions team. I think we've heard a lot of rumors about it, and there is only one answer. There is no management quota or backdoor entry that we have at SIBM Pune. There is only one way of entering the college, and that is through SNAP. And we shortlist students every year, and in fact, we have one of the most rigorous aspirant to student to convert ratio. If you look at B schools in our cadre or even above our cadre, so I don't think we really need people entering from the back door.
We'll take Brian's question, who's asked, should I do CFA before my MBA or after my MBA? I think it's completely your call. If you have time on your side and you want to take maybe MBA in finance and you think that CFA would help you doing that and secure a job, then I think you should do it. And if you want to take up CFA after your MBA, it's again completely your call. So it doesn't really matter because we're not professional consultant. But I think doing a CFA before MBA and if you have time, I think it's a great thing to do.
Also, when it comes to CFA, the college also provides you, an advantage when you come to the college and when you appear for CFA. So, in terms of the scholarship that is offered to the students who want to go for CFA, the college helps you. So, you will not have to pay the entire course fees if you come to the college and take it. But that being said, in case you have time on your hands and you have specific interest that lies in doing CFA, I would heartily recommend for you to do it and come to the college. It will be of advantage to you when it comes to classes, the course curriculum, and subsequently placements. So we will take a question from Vipul. So Vipul, I cannot exactly comment on MICA or I cannot compare exactly SIBM Pune to MICA, but I can give you a few pointers on why I chose SIBM Pune. And I chose SIBM Pune for the first and the foremost thing, which was the placements and the corporate competitions we have. So SIBM Pune, in fact, is the B school that has won the most number of corporate competitions in India this year. So if you go ahead and check the statistics of 2018, the students of SIBM Pune batch of 2019 have won the most number of corporate competitions and have had the most number of finalists in corporate competitions. So if you go ahead and open Dare to Compete right now, they've opened up with a series of 100 business leaders of 2019, where they're going to felicitate the top 100 B school students who've brought the most number of laurels for their B school. And we have the most number of students this year in that list. So that should tell you, about SIBM Pune and the metal that their students have shown. Apart from that, the placements here are really great. The specialization based curriculum that we have is also something which is very, inclined to industry changes. So let's say, there are industry changes and there are skills that keep getting upgraded. So let's say, we understand that apart from MS Excel, which is a basic requirements, there are a lot of other data analysis tools that are required for the MBA students to be knowing. uh, we are being taught Python. The next batch that is going to be coming in, they are going to be taught R programming, which is again, a programming language that is up and coming. So it's not something that usually you will find in a lot of curriculums. But since we are very in touch with our alumni base, with our industry experts that keep giving us feedback, we keep changing our curriculum based on their requirements and ensuring that we are employable and we are industry ready when we get out of here. Apart from that, I think one other factor that helped me choose SIBM Pune was the campus. It's a really beautiful campus, and no amount of words that I'm going to put in here will do justice to the beauty of the campus. But I can say that it's a different feeling when you come out here. It's away from the city. It's a 6 to 8 kilometers ride to the city, and it's on a hilltop. So you have that enjoyment of the weather that is going to be there. The monsoons are really beautiful here. The colds are really beautiful. When it comes to the infrastructure, we have state of the art infrastructure here. When it comes to outdoor sports or indoor sports, we have a swimming pool of our own here. The hostels are state of the art. So all those things are taken care of. Even the mess food is bearable. So I've had worse mess food in different places, so I can say that the mess food is also bearable here, which is something that I got to learn when I came here, of course. But it's something that I would tell the upcoming match. Apart from this, one of the other things that we have, which is one of our USPs, is the student-driven culture and the diversity we have in our batch. So we have students in our batch that are coming from 20, 25 different nationalities. They come from different parts of the country and from outside. Apart from this, students come from varied backgrounds. They're engineers, they're non-engineers. There are CAs in our batch. There are lawyers in our batch. There are CFA people in our batch who've done CFA and then come. There are dentists who are studying with me. There is an embryologist who's come and who's doing an MBA. There is a person who's done masters in pharmacy and then he's decided to come and do an MBA. So varied people, they'll give you varied experiences, and this will help you a lot in gaining the most of your learning that you get here. The student driven culture, as I spoke about earlier as well, because of the student councils and the working here, everything from placements to admissions to maintaining alumni relations, which is very important for a B school, everything is done by the students here. And it is the students that take up this opportunity and ensure that they work as mini organizations, and as a college they work as a the student body works as an organization itself, and ensure that we have hands-on experience of how the corporate world is going to be even before we join the corporate world. I think uh, I will take a question from uh, Vipul. I've answered. I will take a question from NS. So the question is, what was your strategy while preparing for SNAP? So I will give you a few pointers on how I prepared. So I was someone who had strong my strong suit was verbal. So I really focused less on verbal and I have focused on the other aspects. One other hidden gem for me in the SNAP exam was the general knowledge section. So I was really good at the general knowledge section. And so because I used to like quizzing a lot, I used to like reading up things on the internet as well. So I ensured that I make the most of that particular section. Apart from this, I really worked hard in the quant section and in the logical reasoning section, especially quant, because I was not so good at quant. Being an engineer, I know it's a curse that only a few engineers get, but I'm one of those. And my quant was not really good. So I worked really hard. I worked on the arithmetic problems that you get. I worked on algebra. So all these problems that you get, these are very snap friendly because snap is a time based exam, it's a speed based exam. So I used to work on these topics and I ensured that I have a minimum score in mind when it comes to quants, and I maximize my score in verbal and GQ. So that's what I did.
What Akash said, I think my strong area was GK and LR. And being a commerce student, I was obviously struggling in quants, and so I had to practice a lot as far as quants was concerned. And I think Snap is, as he mentions, a time-based test. You need to really solve papers to get the best out of your score, and you need to strategize it well. So you need not spend a lot of time on a question. You need to work on your time, which is really important factor and underrated factor as far as Snap is concerned.
Okay, we will take a question from Bhavin now. Okay, so why am I doing an MBA? I'll start with that. And I mean, when it comes to Unmil is not going to be getting any placements from his MBA. So I think he'll be able to tell you beyond placements what are you actually going to look at. But my personal motivation of doing an MBA, that is what I'm going to go ahead with. So money is obviously a factor to be considered when you're doing an MBA because you're putting in some amount of investment. But more than that, I think for me, what majorly tilted my decision towards MBA was that my field of interest lied in business rather than engineering. So from the point where I finished up with my engineering, I wanted to get into a business role. So that is what I did for a while. And because I wanted to move to varied roles, I wanted to specifically work in marketing and have working knowledge of how things work. In that particular specialization, I took up MBA. Also, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to heavily focus on getting an MBA was personality development, because there are a lot of things that you will learn in MBA that you would otherwise take a lot of time to learn, because the learning is a little disoriented when we learn by ourselves, or it's a little disorganized. When in a B school, it's very organized, and it is very student friendly. So I've learned a lot of new things very quickly that I would otherwise take a lot of time to learn, either because I'm lazy or because it will take some amount of time to get used to. But in a B school, because you're always on your toes, and because you have to do no matter what is happening around you, you have to give your best shot. You learn things quickly, and I think that is also something to learn new things, to ensure that when I go ahead and go back to corporate careers, I end up doing really well because I have a certain backing of the theoretical background that I've gotten in MBA. So I think those were some of the primary reasons why I am doing MBA. Unmil is going to be giving you a very different perspective because he's not going to be getting placements after all. So yeah, over to you, Unmil.
So it was confirmed in my mind that I was going to get into business. I never wanted a job. So it is a very different concept here because MBA is usually associated with getting a job. So when I learned about this course, I was sure on doing it because I knew that I was going to do business. And doing an MBA not only enriches your personality but helps you as far as networking is concerned. So getting to know business leaders, getting hands-on experience from the entrepreneurs was something I really look forward to over here. And subjects that are with the curriculum especially really excited me because you're not only learning the core MBA subjects, but you're learning something like global mega trends. You're learning design thinking. You're learning innovations and entrepreneurship in India, which is obviously very lucrative and very important if I had to go about my startup or my family business. So this is why I pursued MBA in innovation entrepreneurship. And adding to what Akash said, that the MBA regular has placements, and we over here also provide the facility of an incubation center. We have our own incubation center, and as the SCS, Invoices Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. If they are, if your idea is really exciting and they really like it, they'll help you get incubated and they help you as far as the connection in the industry is concerned. This is one of the primary reasons I joined the innovation entrepreneurship process.
Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of questions, or the last two three questions, and then we'll wrap up the session. So one of the questions that I'm going to take up by Tridev, which is which specialization would help if you want to chalk up a career in business analytics? I think business analytics can be used in all the different specializations. So be it HR, be it marketing, be it finance, be it ops, you can use business analytics anywhere in all the specializations. So I would rather say that, with a special focus on business analytics, you can go ahead and choose a particular specialization that interests you. Once you do that, you try and focus more on learning the various data analysis tools, learning various algorithms, learning research methodology techniques, and ensuring that you inculcate that into the business. So I'd say that you take up the other way around, wherein you choose a specialization and then you work in business analytics. Couple of questions, last couple of questions. Yeah, scholarships on offer. So Tridev has asked this question: how many students get the scholarship each semester? So there are different scholarships that are offered. So if I were to honestly tell you, I think 1/5 of the batch, or maybe more than 1/5, in fact, 1/4 of the batch, I would say, usually ends up getting some kind of the some or the other scholarship. So first of all, first 25 students who are in the merit list, the top 25 students who get admitted into SIBM Pune, they are offered a scholarship on merit, which is 5 lakh rupees, and this is directly given to the top 25 students. After that, there is a scholarship that is offered to students who do, well in the curriculum. So students who top each semester, they also get a certain scholarship. Top two snap scorers also get a scholarship. You have to have 99.9999 percentile for that, and then you can go ahead and apply for the scholarship. All right, I think so. We've come to the end of the seminar. Whatever other questions are there, I would highly recommend that you can put it up in comments here. I would obviously be able to get back to you in the comment section, or you can go ahead and get in touch with the aspirant relations team at SIBM Pune. Our email ID is admissionsteam@sibmpune.edu.in. Thank you for joining in. Special thanks for Inside IIM for letting us conduct this seminar, and it was really fun interacting with all of you. Hope to see you, some of the guys I've interacted with at SIBM Pune. Thank you.